changed his life. You can read about it in Acts 9. He would have been at least 70 years old when he wrote this letter. Yet he was still determined to do God's will, which for him was to preach the gospel. Paul strategically chose the cities to which he took the gospel. He selected places that were important in themselves, but also major hubs for entire geographic areas. Philippi was one of these cities, and if we understand its significance, we see that Paul's choice to preach and minister in such an influential place is not surprising. Philippi was important because it had been known historically as a city of rich gold and silver mines, though the mines had been exhausted by the time of Paul's ministry. In 368 BC, King Philip II of Macedonia, the father of Alexander the Great, founded this city, and it was named after him. In 42 BC, after the assassination of Julius Caesar, Philippi was the site of a major battle. In that contest, an army under the command of Mark Antony and Octavian defeated the forces of Brutus and Cassius, who had led the effort to kill Caesar, and thereby determine the future of the Roman Empire. In Paul's day, Roman colonies were scattered throughout the vast Roman Empire, and they helped keep the empire at peace. The well-known Roman road system was constructed for travel among these colonies. By the time Paul visited Philippi, the city had been raised to the status of a Roman colony, and the people who lived there were either Jews or Roman citizens. Paul was both. His being a Roman citizen and a Jew allowed him to preach to both Jews and Romans. It also afforded him special protection on several occasions as he went about preaching the gospel. Paul's writing reveals that he formed close ties with the believers at Philippi and enjoyed an intimate friendship with them. His bond with them was greater than his bond with any other church. In Philippians 4:1, he affirms his special relationship with the Philippians, calling them his joy and crown. At the time Paul wrote Philippians, most aspects of daily life in Philippi were strongly influenced by Roman culture. Citizens spoke Latin, the language of the Roman Empire. People wore Roman clothing styles, and a strong Roman military presence was noticeable around the city. The citizens of Philippi also had a robust sense of cultural pride in their identity as subjects of the Roman Empire, and aggressively resisted non-Roman cultural influences. In Philippi, the citizens who staunchly aligned with Rome persecuted the Christians in their midst, accusing them of trying to institute laws and customs that did not align with those of Rome. The primary purpose for which Paul wrote this letter was to encourage the Philippian believers during this time of hardship. Paul's Roman citizenship did help him during this time of difficulty for Christians, but not enough for him to avoid all persecution and illegal imprisonment. Acts 16 includes a story about Paul's visit to Philippi, which involved three main characters, each of them very different. We meet Lydia, a female merchant from Asia, referred to as a dealer in purple cloth and a worshiper of God. Acts 16:14. We also read about a slave girl whose owners viewed her, as other slaves of the day were viewed, not as a person, but as a tool to be used in the hands of her master, who, in this case, used her to tell fortunes. And we are introduced to a jailer who was a Roman citizen. As we can see from the variety of personalities and backgrounds represented in Acts 16, Paul encountered many segments of Philippian society, from the highest to the lowest. It also is about two women and one man with vastly dissimilar backgrounds. This chapter of the New Testament shows that Jesus offers an all-inclusive faith to everyone, and Paul's ministry reached different types of people as well. Philippians is one of my favorite epistles because it not only encouraged believers in the early church, but also addresses a wide variety of situations that we encounter in